All right, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about asking good questions. We're going to build off the work that we've already done using our QFT or question formulating technique, where we sort of dumped questions out onto the page to see what questions, any kind of question, we could come up with around the idea of invasive species, specifically looking at water hyacinth in the San Francisco Delta. Now, we came up with all sorts of questions, and whether we knew it or not, all of those questions were falling into one of two groups. Either they were open questions or closed questions. So what are open and closed questions, you might ask? Well, let's start with closed questions. Closed questions are questions that could be answered in just a few words. Often they begin with how, as in how old, how long, how many, how much, or they might begin with like a where is, or when, or very often closed questions are yes, no answer questions. So they don't require a whole lot of detailed, thoughtful explanation. Unlike open questions. Open questions require thoughtful, longer explanations. They can also be how questions, but it might be like how does this thing work, that would require a longer explanation. And often they begin with why, because why questions usually require some explanation of a decision-making process, and an explanation of how some kind of system works. So now you try. Let me give you a few examples, and you try categorizing them as either open questions or closed questions. So which questions are better? Well, all questions are good, right? So I can't say that closed questions are bad. They'll lead you somewhere. They're going to help you learn. But open questions generally are going to allow you to learn more and in a more complex way, which is going to give you a better understanding of how the world works. So by being able to ask or answer complex open questions is going to help stretch your brain. Let's work with an example from some of the things we've been talking about. Let's think back to that hemlock woolly adelgid problem that was happening in the Smoky Mountain Range. We could ask the question, what are forest managers doing to control hemlock woolly adelgids? Now, at first that might sound like a pretty complex question, but it doesn't require a whole lot of explanation. We could answer that simply by saying, that it is that they are breeding predatory beetles. So if it only requires me to answer the question by giving a fact, then we would say that that is a closed question. It might be a pretty good closed question, but it's not going to take us very far. We could definitely ask it in another way that would make it a better question. So let's see if we can rework that into an open question. How about we start it with the word why, and we ask, why are forest managers breeding predatory beetles to control hemlock woolly adelgids? Now, this question requires us to consider the strategy that they're using, predatory beetles, but it also is going to require that we kind of compare that to other strategies that they may or may not have used, like spraying or injecting pesticides. Why was that a good option or a bad option? Why would predatory beetles be better or worse? Or maybe even something they haven't tried. Why aren't they just physically removing these things? Why haven't they set fire to the forest? Well, no, there's other possibilities, but you need to explore those things in order to answer this question of why. So what kinds of questions do we as scientists or science students want to be able to ask and answer? Well, open questions, of course, right? Those are the ones that take us somewhere a lot deeper than those closed questions. Google can answer our closed questions very easily, right? And that's fine. That's a good skill to have, but in order to use your brain, you've got to focus on the open questions. All right, good luck. So we're going to use um, this new understanding to try to find more open questions to guide where we go in science class, and also as kind of a foundation for a lot of our arguments based on evidence, or CRETs. All right, good luck with the open questioning. Talk to you soon. Bye.